guys, how are we? I hope you're well. It's another week. Concert Kija here. Inspire YG is the page. For those of you who are popping in here for the first time, welcome. It's a pleasure and it's an honor that you can pop in on this page and get to meet me and we get to know each other. I think it's fantastic and it's always amazing when you are able to meet other souls online. So thank you so much for for my fam, the people who jump on here and watch my videos and and who interact on all social media platforms. I really don't take it for granted. I appreciate that you take your time to do so. So I have my handles. I am also on Facebook and Instagram as Inspire YG. So YG is an acronym for young generation. So it's Inspire Young Generation. So I will share the links on this probably here and here for you to be able to follow me on my Facebook and Instagram, and just to for interaction. Tell me what you would like to hear me talk about. So just a bit of a background. This page, I started it a couple of years ago now. It feels like yesterday, but I do share my journey as an international student. I moved to Australia, Sydney, from Kenya, and I came here by myself. I'm one of those kids. Sometimes I feel like my children will do the same to me, but I've always been a dreamer. I've always wanted to pursue greater things in life. I've always wanted to go beyond what I can see. I've always been fascinated about what is out there that I haven't seen yet, and so this is just me in a nutshell. And I would say that this is what motivated me to actually travel. Someone once asked me, "You travel to Australia for studies, don't you have universities in Kenya?" It was such an interesting question because it was actually asked by a Kenyan. So I don't know whether they were trying to be funny, but I think, when you're a dreamer, you want to go beyond what you can see. You want to go out there, and even the sky is not the limit because you want to go beyond the skies. So anyway, that's me in a nutshell. So what I do on this page is I share my journey as an international student. I've had a couple of experiences, a lot of ups and downs, but I think for the most part, it has been amazing. It has been a very awesome journey that I wouldn't change for the world. So I jump on here, I talk about scholarships that I've received as an international student and how you can actually apply for scholarships if you're coming to Australia as an international student, specifically Australian Catholic University, because that's the university I was at and that's where I got the scholarships from. So but I hope as time goes by I'll be able to bring my friends as well, and they can speak about the experiences they had from the different schools they went to, different institutions they went to. So this is an interesting video today. I want to talk about investments and money. Who doesn't like money? Yeah, I know people like to say, and especially this is for Christians, there's that verse in the Bible that talks about money is the root of all evil, but at the same time, it depends on your mind. I think money cannot be evil without a host, and the host is us human beings. So I think money be on a corner minding its business, and then human beings come and use it for the wrong reasons and misuse it and abuse it, and then we start talking about it's the root of all evil. But when money someone actually said, there's a quote I once saw, I think it was somewhere in a book that it was saying, money has discipline. It's people who don't have discipline. So when money meets a human being who has discipline, then that's it, they take off. When money meets a human being without discipline, then that's a whole different you go down the drain. So yeah, the moment I understand that money in and of itself has got discipline, I realize that it's actually on me. When we talk about money is evil, it's not money that is evil. It's actually us who drives money to evilness. So anyway, I have always have had an interesting journey of understanding the importance of investments and understanding the importance of doing something with your money, letting your money work for you, right? So I'm not going to dive into everything that I've gone into when it comes to trying to understand money and trying to understand the importance of stewardship and taking care of the small that I've got. But I have had a fair share of advantages in life when it comes to observing people around me, whether that's my grandmother, who I have done another video. I spoke about, I don't know if I did the video actually. I'll probably find out if I have, but if I haven't, I will probably touch on it a little bit. Spoke about my grandmother, my maternal grandmother. Obviously did not have a formal education, and she gave me a long story of why that happened, and had something to do with her father. It was during the colonial times in Kenya, where when the British came and they were trying to take over the country, and obviously there was a Mau Mau fighters, and they fought for the land, and obviously they overrode the colonial masters. And during that time there was a lot of problems with land, and obviously the colonizers wanted the fertile land. That's what the main issue was, right? And in Kenya we have specific regions. We have different regions, right? From central Kenya to Rift Valley to the coast, to western, and every area has got the whole country. There are regions that are known to have very fertile land, and from where I come from, central Kenya, there's a lot of fertile land. It's one of the regions with fertile land. And so land has always been almost like a blessing and a curse, because you have people who have so much land, like plenty of it, and then you have those who literally have nothing. And I think there's a whole story. This video wouldn't do justice to actually talk about the whole the history of land and people owning land in Kenya, and different people from different communities owning land. There's that aspect, but then there's also the aspect of women being able to make money, first and foremost, make a living, but also be able to acquire resources to own land. That's a whole other conversation. And I wish my grandparents were alive. I don't survive any of them, but I wish I did, because I would have had a conversation with them and just understand what that was like, especially my grandmothers, because in their time it was even more harder for women to own property. It wasn't even a thing. I think not just property, even things like getting a loan from the bank. I know of stories where women had to go with their husbands or their fathers or their uncles to be able to get a loan from the bank. So there wasn't access of resources. There wasn't access, and also it was almost unheard of that a woman should go and buy property. That was mainly what men did. And also the idea of inheritance, from my community, from where I come from, things are changing now, because some cultural practices are actually they're not progressive, for lack of a better word, and majority of these cultural practices were not in favor of women owning land. And from where I come from what I understand, I remember having this conversation with my grandmother a couple of years ago, and what she said was, you as a woman, you were known that one day you're gonna get married, right? And so the fathers used to give land to the boy child, because the sons are the ones who are going to get married, to go and marry. So they're the ones who will go get somebody else's daughter and marry them. So they needed land so that they can build a home for the woman they're bringing. But you as a lady, you are seen, quote unquote, as someone who will leave the home to go and get married off to another man's son. So you're going to go and find that son had land anyway. So those kind of cultural practices obviously did not leave any room for women to have property for themselves, or because first and foremost you couldn't inherit in the first place. So I understand some families work differently, but for the most part that was the culture and that was what it was. But we've come of age, I think, as a country, in Kenya, and women especially being educated and understanding the importance of investment and understanding the importance of land, especially land banking. They have jumped on the bandwagon, and they've started actually creating that generational wealth for themselves as well. So I probably will one day do an extensive video to understand the mind of my grandmother. Maybe I'll have a conversation with my aunties at some point, and I would understand the mind of my grandmother, my paternal grandmother. She she did labor manual jobs in a university in Nairobi, and the money that she used to get, she used to save and buy plots of land, and she acquired so many plots of land that she was able to leave an inheritance to her children, because my grandfather passed away a long time ago, and so she was left to raise a lot of children by herself. And when I learned what she did, I was so inspired. Yeah, I was so inspired when I learned about what she did and how she used the small money that she used to make to actually, secure a future for her children through land, through land banking. And yeah, so I have to say my grandmother, my dad's mom, was my first source of inspiration to understand the importance of land banking and the importance of investing in buying plots of land. And because land does appreciate, it's one of those assets where you buy it today, 5-10 years from now, it's not going to be the same value. It's not like a car where a vehicle is a liability. The moment it comes out of the showroom, it loses its value. So I thought that was very profound for my grandmother to have that kind of mindset, coming from that generation, but also knowing what she went through, especially through the colonial times, and coming from a culture that did not always see women as people who should own property, especially land. So yeah, I'm so blessed to I'm named after her, and I don't know. I hope I've got her spirit. I think that's what this is all about. But yeah, I think she really inspired me greatly, like huge. The other thing I would say was, I did work straight after I finished college in Kenya. I studied business administration diploma. I was at Thika Technical, for those who know Thika Technical. I loved that school so much. I learned a lot. So straight after studying business administration, obviously we did a lot of units, law units. We did marketing, we did company law, commercial law, I think everything that we needed, things to do with tax and, a bit of accounting and, just getting the basics and financial literacy. But, just understanding money first and foremost, but also understanding the idea of investing, right? And having a successful business even. That was fascinating to me. And so when I finished college, I got a job in Nairobi, in a place called Kitengela. And what we used to do there, the company used to lease houses, apartments, but they also sold plots of land. And I remember one time going with one of the bosses for, there was a young man who had come from the States. He was Kenyan, who was a Kenyan living in the States. He was so young, he must have been 19 or 20. And he had come back home to buy a plot of land. He had come with his mom. And I remember thinking, looking at him and thinking, oh my God, he's younger than me. And he's literally here to buy a plot of land. And I thought, wow, like this, I hope this is gonna be me one day. Just the idea that he understood the importance of land banking at 19, and he came back to Kenya to want to secure a plot for himself. That was around the Konza region. There's a place called Konza. There was supposed to be a project. I don't know if anybody is watching this and you know about the Konza City project that was supposed to happen in Kenya. Please comment down below and tell me what happened with that. But a lot of people actually went and bought land there just because, when one of the philosophies behind knowing where to buy pieces of land, it's obviously looking at places where there is the government is planning to do an investment, or the government is planning to do a development. Because what happens is they develop the area, they make sure that it's proper infrastructure, there will be water, proper roads and things like that. So it sort of helps you if you're planning to develop or get a piece of land around a place where the government is planning to develop or to do an investment. So yeah, that was my second motivation or inspiration, where I thought this is the way to go. And so it was hard. This is something that has always been at the back of my mind when I finished uni. On top of that, after finishing, I did end up getting another job with a bank in Kenya, in Nairobi. Now, with the bank, they used to lend money, and especially a lot to women, because it was a women's bank. And I said I'm going to do a video maybe later on in the future. I hope I can find someone from that bank to actually understand the history and the foundation of the bank. But I loved the idea that they would help and support, empower women to grow, to start a business, to do farming, to buy land. Yeah. Oh, excuse the police car or the ambulance. I don't know what it is. It's so loud. Wow. Okay. So what this video is me sharing my journey, and I think I will keep going, and as time goes I will share with you some of the things that I'm doing. I have big dreams. I'm such a huge dreamer, but some of the dreams that I have obviously has always been owning pieces of land or having my own properties, and being a landlady. I want to one day come here and introduce myself. Hi guys, I am the landlady, Konsakijo. So that's one of my dreams. I'll put it out there for the universe and for God to hear my prayer. Amen. But yeah, I really have a dream to own properties and rental properties, especially provide good quality housing for people, especially young people. I have that dreams, and I know it's gonna come true, because I'm very, very relentless. I don't give up on my dreams. So I actually have some very good news to share with you guys. So to start off, I have actually gotten myself some pieces of land. So I do have now, I am a 3-time landowner. So I am so super pumped, because this has been a journey. This has not been easy, because let me tell you guys. So the dream, one of the things that I told myself I'm gonna do after I finish uni was, I told myself I'm going to invest. The thing about being at uni in Australia, and for those who are an international student can back me up, it's nearly impossible to save money for yourself, because what happens is you work a lot, and you obviously have to work because the cost of living in and of itself in Australia is very high. But also the tuition fee is high. You have to survive. And so saying that, for me, saving money to buy property when I was at uni, it's something I could not afford. The money I saved was actually going back to uni, or going to pay my my bills and things like that. But I promised myself, when I finish uni, I'm actually going to do something about it, because something about a dream, when you have a dream and it's deep in your heart, it's almost like you don't have peace until you actually pursue it. It's gonna haunt you. That thing that is in your mind that you need to do, because it's almost like a God-given gift to you, that is sort of aligned with your purpose in life. And if you don't do it, it stays at the back of your mind, and whenever it gets an opportunity, it will come out, and it will come to challenge you. So I think I am super blessed, and I think I'll dedicate this video to my grandma. May her soul rest in peace. I love that woman so much. I took everything from her, including my height, not just her name. But the fact that she had no idea that what she did when she was a single mom, raising all these kids and doing manual jobs to actually raise her kids and buy property. She has no idea that she was actually creating generational wealth, but not just generational wealth, creating that loop of inspiration to inspire her future generations. It's just incredible, right? I hope one day my great grandchildren can watch this video. I hope YouTube will be here forever. They can watch this video and they can say, you know what, my great grandma Connie Konso my great grandma inspired me to do something, to buy a plot of land, to build something, to buy myself something somewhere for my future generation. That's the dream I have. But because I don't have great grandchildren yet, let me inspire you. Okay, if you're watching this video and you have a job, please save some money somewhere and do something for your future generation, because it's your lineage, and they will thank you. They will thank you one day. It's amazing. I am so grateful to God, because this was not easy. I didn't have the money. I wouldn't say that I had the money, that I didn't have anything to do with it. When I finished uni, I've always wanted to buy myself a car. And I said, look, with the knowledge that I have right now, to go and buy a car when I have no piece of land, it's actually a joke. It's an insult to my intelligence. It's an insult to my knowledge. So I just thought, no, a car is a liability. It's actually going to depreciate. But if I buy a plot of land, 5 years from now, it's going to appreciate in value. A car can wait. I still have legs. I can walk. I understand it's convenient to have a car, but if you have a car and you don't have, like, let's say, an asset somewhere, to me, it doesn't make any sense. So I will buy a car one day, very soon, and when I do, I will also update you, because I want to inspire you. Sharing these things, it's not about just saying this is what I want. It's material things. It doesn't really faze me. But it's inspiring. It's an inspiration to know that just not so long ago, because Kenya is a very young country. It's barely 50 something years since independence. Just few years ago, a person like me would not have an opportunity to own a piece of land. And to be in a country where right now, actually majority of landowners in Kenya are women, and young women at that, is just an inspiration. But also, also to say, to acknowledge the men who have come of age, the men who have decided to challenge the norms and, inspire their women, their wives, their children to actually go out there and invest. Those are the type of men, literally, they need to be applauded, and and people need to recognize that. How, because when you understand the power of culture, culture is sometimes stronger than even the constitution. The constitution can say something is illegal and it will still be practiced because of how the culture is strong. So I feel like when men in these kind of communities where we have practices that still are regressive and they undermine the capacity of a woman, where we have men who come up and say, look, this is my wife, she want to invest, I'm going to support her. Or this is my daughter, she want to invest, I'm going to support her. I think those kind of men need to be held high in society. I don't know, something, they need to be acknowledged, and you know, because they're setting good example out there. So yeah, I'm gonna stop there, because if I keep going, I'm gonna keep going and keep going. But this video is to inspire you. I you know, that you can do it. Don't give up. Just save as little as you can from whatever you're earning. Just put a little percentage on the side and try and pursue owning a piece of land. I think I'll do another video in the future, because I'll keep going, and I'll keep I really want to keep going and adding the portfolio of my investments. And when I do that, I'll always share as a form of inspiring you guys. Okay, so thank you so much for popping in, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so that it can remind you when I upload another video. Okay, so for now, God bless you, have a good week, and until the next one, bye.